Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, where in today's video, we are going to be continuing Naruto, The Tale of Two Sages, What If Naruto Was Louise's Familiar, Part 7. As always, if you're new to the channel, or if you're a regular and you like what we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcasting staff to come out now and in the future. Where we last left off with our series, we have now covered the first two seasons of Familiar of Zero in What If Naruto Was Louise's Familiar. As we go into Part 7, we will be covering the events of Season 3. Now, due to some of the filler aspects of Season 3, the next few parts won't really be as long as they will be setups for Season 4, and once we get past Season 4, we will then move into the climax of this series. So, well and all, within the next month or so, this series will be coming to an end. All in all, the story has taken many different turns from what you might expect. As Naruto adjusts to his life now in this new world, there are many still problems unresolved from the world that he came from. Problems that are now finding their way to him rather soon. But, as Naruto continues to grow alongside of his new friends, how will he balance now being caught up in the events of the world he finds himself in? With the attachments and with the bonds that grow stronger and stronger each day, does Naruto even want to go back to his home? But what will he do when circumstances prevent him from having a choice in the matter? For all this and more, stay tuned as we now continue Naruto, The Tale of Two Sages, What If Naruto Was Louise's Familiar, Part 7. As always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Naruto rested in bed for a few days following his return back to the academy. Louise, along with Siesta, watched over him. He seemed to be extremely tired for someone who had high bouts of stamina. Siesta noticed that there was something weird going on with Louise. She looked as though she were frightened, as if whenever she looked upon Naruto, there was a mix. There was a sign of relief, but there was also a sign of fear. Unknown to Siesta, Louise had unintentionally made contact with the nine-tailed fox that dwelled inside of Naruto himself. For Louise, this was the first time she had come into contact with the nine tails within him, and she wasn't sure of how to take it. On one hand, Naruto's aura was something like that of the sun itself. It was warm, it was inviting. You felt safe and secure around him. But then there was that beast. Whatever it was the opposite. You could feel the malice and the hatred. It was as if it oozed from within its own cells. And Louise had been given a brief glimpse of what it was. Naruto before long would awaken. He felt tired and drained, more so mentally than anything else. The fact that he had to fight an army of over 70,000. It wasn't a small feat to say the least, and he could feel that he had exhausted much of his chakra in order to do so. But then there was the matter of Jiraiya. He hadn't made any contact with him over the last few weeks, and Naruto had wondered what had happened. He waited until he would get enough strength, and he figured when the time came, he would try to summon one of the toads from Mount Miyaboku to try to figure out what was going on back in his own world. In the meantime, the school would all be celebrating their victory, as the country of Tristan had prevailed in its battle against the country of Albion, especially thanks to the likes of Naruto, who was now being seen by many as the country's hero. This was something that Naruto had never experienced before, Everywhere he walked to on campus, many were cheering his name. The girls were looking at him and giggling, some even blushing. The boys all valued Naruto for his power and ability. He was actually a warrior who knew how to fight for himself, and the fact that he had this type of power and was on their side only bolstered their good tiding. Before long, Agnes would arrive, calling for both Naruto and for Louise, as they were summoned by the queen. While making their way, they would begin their journey to her castle. In doing so, they would stop and rest for the night. Siesta had come along with them as their attendant. As they were resting, Naruto would take the first watch. As the fire was being stoked, Naruto sat alone, his sword, Durf, on his back. As the two talked amongst themselves, Louise, who hadn't been able to get any sleep at all, would sit beside him. Hi, Naruto. Louise, I didn't expect you to be here. You know I had the first watch. You can sleep if you want to. I don't mind staying up a little longer. No, it's fine. I couldn't sleep much myself. I've been thinking of you, you know. Oh, I see. I'm sorry to make you worry like that. No, it's fine. I knew you'd come back. Naruto. Yeah, what is it? You might call me crazy, but I had this dream. Really? About what? I don't know. I was in a dark corridor. It was wet under my feet. I walked and there were these cages all around me until I came across one, and there was a creature inside. Its eyes and the way that it looked at me in that moment. It might just be me imagining things, but the aura I felt from it, I felt it when I first summoned you. At least, it felt like it was mixed. Like it was yours and its all swirled up together into one. I don't know, maybe I'm just delusional, but Louise, I figure it's time I told you the truth. The truth? About me. About what I am. Naruto would explain to Louise his life as a Jinchuriki, and that in the world he came from there were powerful creatures known as the Tailed Beast. They ranged from the One Tails all the way to the Nine Tails, and they were spread all over the world. Naruto was in fact the host of the Nine Tails. To say that Louise was shocked would be an understatement. A powerful creature that was sealed away inside of a human being? It sounded like something out of a nightmare, although, believe it or not, something like this wasn't too uncommon. Granted, a practice like that wasn't normally performed in their world, but there were legends of those who had powerful beings and creatures and other natural forces sealed away, whether inside of an object or even sometimes inside of human beings. The whole process sounded barbaric in nature. Although, the more Naruto explained, the more Louise began to understand how his world operated. That these Jinchuriki, as they were, served more or less a military purpose to a country. Essentially, in the world that Naruto came from, he was nothing more but a glorified bomb, something to be used as a deterrent against other enemy nations, because he housed the strongest of the beasts of his world. But what Louise couldn't understand was why the people treated him so badly. From what she had learned of how Naruto had grown up, it just didn't make any sense. It caused her to get angry. The idea that these people, the people that Naruto would supposedly have to give his life to protect, they showed him such disservice and unjust rudeness. The fact that they could be so harsh on a young man who was doing his best, to try to become the leader of his country. It just sounded so archaic to her. Naruto tried to calm her down, but Louise wouldn't. No, Naruto, it's not fair. Louise, really, it's no, it's not just nothing. Here you are, trying so desperately to get back to that world, to fight for them, despite everything you've gone through, despite being hunted down like nothing more but a beast, by bad people, and yet they still treat you that way? How do you do it? How could you ever want to be leader of people like them? Louise, it's not just anything. What would happen if you died? Would any of them care? What would they even do? Would they be happy that the little beast is gone? No. How do you think I would feel if something happened to you? Louise would start to tear up a bit. Naruto could see the genuine emotion on her face. What made Louise so angry was the fact that out of everything, the idea that Naruto could be so kind and so forgiving, it just made her boil up with more rage. She would never want anyone to go through that. Slowly but surely, Louise's heart was starting to grow more and more. Gone was the girl that only cared about nobility and about heritage. Louise was a girl that showed genuine compassion and love for those of whom she had affection for. As the two sat together in the forest, they would find themselves under attack. Naruto would move Louise down as he drew his sword, slicing away at two wolves that had been summoned. From the darkness, a woman with dark hair and a long flowing gown of violet would make her presence known. She had a mark on her forehead, a mark that looked awfully similar to that of Naruto's. As Naruto kept his sword about him, Agnes, along with Siesta, would be awakened and called to action. They would hear a cry from the forest as a young girl was running from another set of wolves. Naruto would quickly move in to her rescue as he sliced down the wolves that had been summoned. So, this is Gandalf, now reborn into this world. Just who are you? If you must know, my name is Sheffield, and I am the servant for my master Joseph. I have been looking for you for a while now. Your exploits at Albion have become that of legend throughout the country. The boy who slayed 70,000. The boy who is the one-man army. The one known as Naruto the Gandalf. And it seems your power definitely lives to the legend, for I sense a great force within you. You will serve my master well in his plans when the time comes. Before Naruto could attack once again, the woman would disappear. Now being left to their own, Naruto, Louise, Siesta, and Agnes would turn over to the young girl that had been running for her life. As she jumped into Naruto's arms to thank him, Louise would become a little agitated. You see, Louise, for many qualities that she had, there was one that she lacked greatly. You see, the queen, her friend Henrietta, she was well endowed. Siesta was also well endowed. And this girl here, she had what one might call treacherous mountains on her chest. Louise, well, you would call them the Great Plains, and that was putting it mildly. And Louise didn't really like the idea of Naruto having his face smothered in such a way. Naruto, he had gone from a moment of seriousness to a moment of feeling absolute bliss. Everything was moving so quickly that he had no idea where he was. It was dark, but it was soft, and he felt like there was something fluffy on either side of his cheeks. A nice warm smile would creep across his face, but Louise would quickly snatch him by the collar, pulling him off of her. Agnes would have her sword drawn, asking who the girl was and where she had come from. The young girl would introduce herself as Tiffany, and she would explain that she had been living out in the forest for a while when she sensed a dark disturbance. The next thing she knew, she found herself being chased by a pack of wolves and ended up being sent over here somehow. She had no idea who these people were or where they had come from, but she meant them no harm. Agnes was a bit more misgiving than others, but Naruto would tell them that it was alright, and that he could sense that she had no ill will. Louise would ask how Naruto was able to do this, and honestly, he couldn't really answer. Unknown to Naruto, that his Uzumaki lineage, mixed in with the magic presence growing within him, gave him a lot more insight when it came to his sensory ability. He could sense the darkness within one's heart. With that woman they had just encountered, darkness was oozing from her. But he could sense nothing with this girl. Of course, Agnes wasn't all too worried though. She had seen what Naruto was capable of, and she was skilled herself. If anything were to happen, they could fight it off. As the girl thanked them, she would explain that she had been trying to find her way to where the Queen of Trishtan was for a while now, although she had no way of doing so. Naruto, knowing that they were going to see the Queen, would offer to take her there. Agnes, again, being one of the Queen's guards, was a bit misgiving, but Naruto explained that, like she said, they were the most powerful ones here, and based off of everything he had heard, I think it would be unwise to assume that she would try anything, and Naruto promised to take responsibility. With that, Tiffany would travel along with the group, before eventually they would arrive to the castle of Trishtan, where Queen Henrietta would be waiting for them. As they arrived, Henrietta would thank Naruto immensely, rushing over and giving him a rather sturdy hug as well. And Louise, well, once again, was not too fond of this at all. She clutched her wand tightly, trying to hold back from causing another explosion. Henrietta would inform them that the reason she had called them here was because not only was Naruto to be thanked, but she sought to it that he should be promoted. Naruto's ears would perk up at this. A promotion? Naruto was going to get a promotion? He never got a promotion. Well, he tried to make Chunin, but that didn't go too well, and there was no way they were going to give him Jonin anytime soon. Louise would ask what exactly was a Chunin and a Jonin, and Naruto, in a rough way of putting it, would briefly explain that in his world they had rankings. Naruto explained that in his world a Genin was a starter ninja, Chunin were mid-level and they were the captains, and the elite were considered Jonin. Above that you had different groups such as the Anbu, the Sannin, and then finally all the way at the top you have a Kage. Well, for his village, Hokage to be specific. Once they were able to put it all together, and Naruto revealed that he was still a Genin, Louise would actually stop and laugh for a minute. Hey, it's not funny, you know. Yes, it is. You keep talking about me being a zero, and yet from everything you've said, it seems as though everyone from your graduation class has been promoted except for you. Hey, it's not like I had time to take the Chunin exams. I was gone for 2.5 years, and by the time I got back so much stuff happened I didn't have a chance to get promoted yet. Wait, you have exams? Agnes would ask. Well, yeah. It's this thing where different shinobi compete against one another, and those who perform well are able to be promoted. Do you compete in combat? Well, yeah. I mean, there are different parts of it, not just physical. There was a written test for me once, and then there was a forest exercise, although the final round was one-on-one competition. Really? Did you get it to compete? Henrietta would ask. Yeah, I did. I made it all the way to the finals. Did you win your match? I won my first round match. So you lost in the second round? Louise would ask. Oh no, you see, in the middle of the exams, our village came under attack by 2 enemy villages, and the one-tails, actually. Wait, you mean those tail beasts you were talking about? You've met other ones who have them? Just one. He's my friend, Gara, from the Sand Village. He actually became the Kazekage of his village. I'm sorry, I'm a bit confused. I thought he was the enemy. He was, but we became friends. You became friends with an enemy nation? Agnes would ask. Yeah, is that really uncommon? Well, at least in this country, we're peaceable enough, Henrietta would explain. But the idea of being friends with an enemy nation isn't really something that happens all that often, since war is usually prevalent for us. The conversation would go on for a little bit more, as Naruto, in a roundabout way of explaining it, basically told them everything that happened from the Chunin exams all the way to Konoha Crush. Of course, this was Naruto explaining, so the ins and outs of everything wasn't as put together as you might think, since Naruto wasn't one for politics. But still, they got a good understanding of what Naruto's world was all about, and Naruto understood theirs a bit. And to see that he was being promoted to knight, you could say it was like a Chunin promotion kinda, even though this world didn't function with shinobi at all. But still, a promotion was a promotion, and he had earned it. He was given a black cloak that he would wear over his current clothes, as well as a golden medallion, signifying his rank as a knight. Along with that, Tiffany would also explain why she was there as well. As she took off her hat, many would be shocked to see that she was an elf. In this world, humans and elves didn't really get along all that well, putting it lightly. However, Tiffany would explain that her mother was actually an elf, and that her father was actually an Archduke of Albion. Because of this, she had ties to royalty, which was actually a good thing. Seeing as how Albion was going to be having a change in power, it meant that in a way, she and Henrietta were a lot alike, 2 potential young rulers of their countries. And with Tiffany wanting to be an ally and hoping to avoid any unnecessary bloodshed, Henrietta viewed this as an opportunity. Not only could they help her out, but also they could try to mend relations between the 2 sides, especially after Naruto had already defeated them so soundly. So for now, Tiffany, even though she would have to overcome some prejudice of going to a school that wasn't too open for elves, even with her half-elf status, she would at least want to try to understand others better. And she was grateful to Naruto for having saved her life, so she was all the more eager to learn more about him. With that, the final preparations were made and Tiffany would attend the academy. As for Naruto, he would continue on serving as Louise's familiar, but now he would be a guard for the entire academy itself, as their top knight. His fight against the army of Albion proved without a shadow of a doubt that if there was anyone capable of serving as Tristan's finest, it was definitely him. Before long, a special parade was put into order. Using a specially made hot air balloon, Naruto, Louise, Tiffany, and Siesta would all make their way back to the academy, where the students would put together their celebration. Goucher leading them as he introduced Naruto to the other boys of the school, who were all in awe of Naruto and looked to him as their leader, seeing as how he was the most experienced and most qualified, now gaining the rank of knight. For many at the academy, the celebration was well into the night itself, all for the promotion of Naruto. For Naruto himself, you could say that this was a big deal, as he had never experienced anything like this before. Louise making him promise not to let it go to his head, and Naruto promised that he wouldn't. But still, he had to make sure he summoned a toad from Mount Miyaboku soon. He had to know what happened to Master Jiraiya. In the meanwhile, back in Naruto's world, things were starting to get a lot more dire. There was still no word from Naruto, or in fact, how on earth the Nine Tails had been taken to another world. Sadly, Ma and Pa Toad would deliver the message to Tsunade that Jiraiya had unfortunately died in the Hidden Rain village. And as if things weren't getting from bad to worse, word was going around that Sasuke Uchiha had somehow killed Itachi. The whereabouts of Sasuke remained unknown. But the Hidden Leaf didn't have much time to mourn their new losses. Mainly because, as they looked towards the sky, a being bellowing in the cloak of the Akatsuki would descend upon them, piercing them with the eyes of the legendary Sage of Six Paths, the Rinnegan. Tsunade and the others would stand guard as he approached. Fifth Hokage, it seems we have a similar issue in our search for the Nine Tails. This concludes Naruto, The Tale of Two Sages. What if Naruto was Louise's familiar? Part 7. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue My Hero Academia, The Dark Knight Returns. What if Deku was Batman? Part 7. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.